A video called Ballistics Don't Lie. The channel is Outside the Overton by Zeb Boykin. Apparently Zeb Boykin is a former Marine Corps sniper. Very good video. Now, if you guys don't know, I am a former sniper team leader, former Green Beret, a bunch of other things. And what I do for a living is not YouTube, right? We actually teach firearms tactics, and we actually specialize in teaching long range. That's what we do for a living here. And what I want to make very clear is, number one, I think that's a good video. Immediately upon watching that video, I'm like, hey, I like this guy. This guy is my people. I think we have a lot in common. And the first thing I want to do is educate everyone on what exit wounds and entrance wounds actually look like. So in this video right here, they're actually shooting a pork butt, and I think this is a good analog for the human neck. The human neck is not very dense. A lot of it is hollow. We're not going to see any fluids. I want you to kind of imagine what would be taking place if we were dealing with fluids, as well as all the other dynamics. Now, what we have right here is a ballistic shoot, and this is something that we've done in the past with our own medical training, but it's to basically help you visualize the terminal ballistic effects of different types of rounds and prepare you for what they're going to look like, and then hopefully also help you make a good decision on how to treat that wound. All right, so the first caliber that they're going to test is 9mm ball ammunition. Let's take a look at what takes place here. All right, so right there you can see the entrance wound. It is, with ball ammunition, it is barely visible, and that is very common when it comes to any sort of entrance wound with, well, entrance wounds, period. But let's take a look from the side when they show it in slow motion of the impacts and analyze the terminal effects of that round. Now, what I want you to notice here is that we have immediate expulsion of all kinds of material. And imagine if we were also dealing with fluids. I also want you to notice how that exit wound looks. The surrounding material is also projected forward. We have a large exit wound, and this is just 9mm ball ammunition. It is not traveling nearly as fast as any sort of rifle round. It's gonna have about half the energy that we see with even some of the smaller caliber rifle rounds. All right, so I don't know how relevant, but I think it's a good illustration, and for educational purposes, we'll also show them shooting this solid copper hollow point, also 9mm. Let's take a look at the entrance versus the exit wound. And as you can see there, that entrance wound is barely visible. Now let's take a look at the slow-mo footage of the exit wound. I mean, look at that. That is massive. And if we go back frame by frame, there is massive expulsion of biological debris. And there again, I want you to imagine if we were also dealing with bodily fluids as well. All right, so hopefully I've established that doesn't have the characteristics of an exit wound. Now let's take a look at the possibility of seeing an entrance wound where Zeb indicates. He basically says he thinks it was impacted on the right side, rear right side. But I do want us to take a look at, this is the moment, this is the first frame that we see where Charlie is hit. And this is some of the best footage I can find, but what we clearly don't see, we do see his ear canal. And there is enough definition here to where if we saw an entrance wound or some sort of deformation, we would see it here. And we don't see that. Zeb also talks about an earpiece that goes flying. I think I have an answer for that. The other thing I do want to show you guys while we're right here. So not only do we not see any sort of entrance wound, folks, there is a huge swelling of the skull, it looks like here. I can't say for sure if this is just, you guys can see what looks like portions of his skull protruding. Now understand that he's hit here. So right now when we're looking at this kind of anomaly, and it could just be a artifact of filming and just not really high fidelity film. But I think that's what we're actually capturing here. I think we're actually capturing a rapid swelling of the cranial area. This goes back to more physical evidence that I think supports my original theory, where we have a round traveling upward and the hydrostatic shock wave is actually causing rapid expansion of both tissue and possibly even the skull itself. As we move forward, you know, we see some really strange things going on there. Keeping it specific to what was said in that video, if there was an entrance wound on the right side, we would see it.
That's a lot of people, Utah, I'll tell you what. All right, we're going to get started, everybody. You know how it works, question and answer. Also, thank you to Lane from Y-Refi. That was great. Really appreciate it. And we're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
You guys up this way, let's go up that way. Hey, go that way. Go. This area, should we cordon off this
Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said. Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
Now, if we watch this short clip, and this is the only information that we see, I think the direction of energy transfer is pretty damn clear. And I will also mention, sure looks like he gets hit in the chest, but let's play this in real time, and then I'll go through it frame by frame. And again, you guys tell me what you think. Now, if I saw that independently of anything else, I would say that this person looks like they're hit in the chest, and definitely from the front. And I understand that he falls off to his left side, but you know, as someone becomes incapacitated, there's other things that can influence in the direction they fall, not necessarily just the impact. You know, and he does go back, and then he goes off to one side. And we can look at this. When he's hit, there we have the kind of anomalous shirt impact. He is going back. His head goes forward, folks. As he gets hit, his head remains stationary, and he goes backwards in his chair, just like this, and then kind of rebounds up, and then he falls off to the left side. Here we can see the same thing from a different angle. I also want you to pay attention to the immediate response of whoever is running this camera and the crowd, by the way. The entire crowd looks in the direction of the shooter. Now, I don't doubt, given the landscape and the terrain there, which is basically almost an amphitheater-like surrounded by concrete, folks, there is echoes bouncing off of everything in there. And what we have in this one frame, and it only shows up in one frame, is this anomaly that we see right there. Now, if we play this, the more you watch it, the more you can tell it's actually moving from left to right. It's not moving toward Charlie. Even that is hard to tell. I will give anyone that. But the real problem here is that this footage is being filmed on a cell phone. So last and final, and I'm not gonna even, I got some pictures and video that kind of definitely provide some evidence. One of the things Zebs talks about is you can see some things flying through the air. Number one, if you actually pay attention to the photos, you can tell that those objects, and he references as an earbud. I see no earbud in any of those pictures. I do understand that there may be a wired mic underneath. That's fine, but we definitely don't have any earbuds in his ears. There's lots of pictures to prove that. But he says those are flying to the left. And depending on what angle you're looking at, there's definitely pictures that I guess can be perceived that way. Other pictures show that same object flying behind him.
The very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people. For I have complete confidence in the response and dedication of our citizens whenever they are fully informed. I not only could not stifle controversy among your readers, I welcome it. This administration intends to be candid about its errors. For as a wise man once said, An error doesn't become a mistake until you refuse to correct it.
The report is that the president is dead. The word we have is that he is dead, that he was shot by an assassin at the intersection of Elm and Houston Streets just as he was going into the underpass. The word we have is from a doctor on the staff of Parkland Hospital who says that it is true. He was in tears when he told me just a moment ago.
Question you asked me is, yes, before I go on a college campus, my prayer is very simple. God, use me for your will.
Amen.
Because there's a plan above us all. God is sovereign above all. The capacity and ability of our agency or action is very debatable. So what is God's plan when I go on a college campus? I just believe I will only tell truth, I will not compromise, and I'll love on the lost. All I care about is what I do. And what I do is I fight. And I know what God calls of us. So the specific teachings of Christ is go make disciples of all nations. I'm trying my best to do that. And I'm trying to do it first in this nation because this nation impacts every other nation on the planet. Jesus called us to love children. Jesus called us to tell truth. Jesus called us to contest in the public square for his purposes. So I care about what God thinks of me. I literally don't care about what people say about me. I couldn't care
How
less.
long did it take you to get to that point?
Years.
Yep.
It takes years. You grow a thicker skin or you start to realize what really matters in life. I mean, I've had an unbelievably blessed life. Been doing this now, it'll be 12 years on June 5th.
Such a young man to do it.
So young.
Yeah, so praise God. I mean, I've been all across the world. I've met with world leaders. I've flown in Air Force One, got to know a president. I have an amazing family, the podcast, Turning Point USA, all that stuff. And so you experience that and you're like, what actually matters? What matters is your relationship with the divine, your relationship with your family, your kids, and maybe a close collection of friends, and your relationship with the truth.